This is August the 21st, 1990, and we're taping our history show for September the 4th. And we're so excited today. This is our history tape number 128. We have a very special young man with us today. And in his history, he has decided to highlight some of the activities that have been very important to his life. And it relates to his service in the Masonic Lodge and in the Shriners, and particularly with the De Malays, which are the young men of the Masonic Order. And we're just so pleased today to welcome Mr. Ben Whitley. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ruthie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, we're glad to have you with us today, Ben, and we're very sorry that Margaret, your wonderful wife, could not be with us today, but you really did bring three handsome, fine young men with you.
That's right.
All right.
You know, it's an occasion where that Margaret always had to stay home and take care of the kids, and so she fit in her role real properly there, taking care of the grandkids.
Oh, that is great. That falls right in the line of duty for grandmothers, doesn't it?
That's right.
All right, now, Ben, we're going to set the stage. We want you to look into your camera, and first of all, we want you to, now Margaret couldn't be here, but you've promised me and you promised Margaret that you're going to tell about her parents, establish her genealogy, and give us their names and also her brothers and sisters' names. Would you do that for us?
Well, her mother's name was Oder Lawrence. Her father's name was Charlie M. Lawrence, and she has two brothers, Junior Lawrence and Jerry Bob Lawrence.
Okay.
They live in Sulphur Springs, Texas.
All of these live in Sulphur Springs?
Yes.
Could you tell me if that's Hopkins County?
That's Hopkins County. That was, they grew up out north of Hopkins County in a little community named Birthright.
Birthright?
Yes.
Oh, that's a new town I haven't talked about on the show. That is great. Okay, and we're going to leave Margaret for a minute till the time that you all started courting, but now we want to talk about your parents.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your parents. Give us their names and all about your brothers and sisters. Would you do that?
Rosie, my mother was Katie Lou Duffy. She was one of a large family. She had 5 sisters and she had 6 brothers.
Oh, great.
And they was expanded over years of 80. The oldest one was 102 when he died.
Oh, my.
And I could go down to the Duffys. It's a Duffy family, and we'd go down the road 5 miles, and we would pass 9 Duffys, kid brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. And it was a great family. It had a great tradition, and they all were born a Methodist, and they died a Methodist. And it's one of the greatest traditions they ever had. But it was just fantastic. When I could go home and go to church, and we'd see 9 mothers, mother and brothers there at church.
Oh, that was great. Now, your mother, I believe, still lives in Grand Prairie, Texas, and tell us her age.
93.
She's 93. And you have her at a nursing home here, and you get to go by and see her often?
Right. I was up there this morning.
All right. Now, tell me this. You gave us your mother's age and her name and etc. Tell us about your dad. His name.
Ben Whitley. He died in 1972, had a heart attack. And he was from a family of, he had 5 brothers and 5 or 6 brothers and 3 sisters.
Where were they from?
They was from Winsboro, Texas, out between Winsboro and Gilmer, Texas.
Okay.
They was sawmillers.
Okay.
They run all sawmills.
All right. What did your dad do for a living?
He was a farmer.
He was a farmer. And where did y'all have your farm when you were growing up?
Rosie, we had out of Winsboro, between Winsboro and Gilmer. I was born in Gilmer, Texas.
All right. What year and the date?
20th of May, 1925.
All right.
And let me tell you a little story about this. My daddy got on the phone, and I'm a twin brother, twins.
Oh, and you were a twin.
Yeah, and he said, Kate, told some friend there already 2 here. Ben said, you talk like you're going to be more.
Oh.
But he was so excited that elated that he had twin boys.
All right, now you're going to have to name your twin brother right here on the spot.
John W. Whitley. John Wesley Whitley.
All right, where does John Wesley live?
He lived in Corpus Christi.
All right, what does he do for a living?
He is in work for Whitley Truck Lines.
Okay.
He has been in the Navy like I. He spent 20 years in the Navy.
All right, now who is your other brother? Do you have another brother other than John?
Max. He was a coach here in Grand Prairie.
Yes, he was.
From 58 to 64.
All right, now where is Max at this moment?
He's the principal of Travis Junior High in Irving.
Oh, that's great. You have one brother close by and one way off down in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
All right, did you have any sisters? No sisters?
No sisters, Ruth.
Oh, wow.
Jackson, no.
All right, when your family lived down on the farm, did you ever help with the cows and do the farming and good stuff like that?
Ruth, all the time. You know, that was part of the chores that we would milk the cows and everything.
All right.
We lived so far back in the cotton country that when we went to the mailbox, we'd have to take a sack lunch.
Take a sack lunch to the mailbox. That's a new one. All right, now tell me, where did Ben Whitley go to school when you started to school out in the country?
We went to Prairie, Texas.
Spell that.
Perryville.
And where is that? What county?
That's on Wood in Upshur County.
All right.
The county line went right through the 3rd and 4th grade school there.
Well, how great.
I was born in Upshur County, and we have property on part of it in Wood County and part of it in Upshur County.
Okay.
Now, have you ever been on the Autumn Trail down at Prairieville?
Oh, yes, that is beautiful.
Okay, and our home place is right where 1647 comes in from Newsom and bisects there with 852. That's our old home place there. Max has that, and he got it fixed up beautiful there.
All right, now, this little school that you went to, how long did you go to that little country school?
Till the 10th grade.
To the 10th grade.
That's right.
And then what happened to you in the 10th grade?
We went to Union Hill. And,
now, where in the world is Union Hill?
It's a consolidated high school down by Betty, Texas.
And Betty, Texas, in what cotton picking county?
It's in Upshur County.
It's in Upshur, too?
That's right.
Is it close to Gilmer?
Yeah, 5 miles from Gilmer.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, that is great. Well, now, we've gotten you through school. Were you outstanding as a student when you were in school? Did you have athletics, or were you a debater, or what was your main forte?
Forte was basketball, because I wasn't a debater. I went and played basketball. We had 4 teachers. And my basketball coach was the principal of the school. And we would raise our hands and we'd go to the restroom, outside toilet. Of course, he knew where we was going. We were going to play basketball. Mm-hmm. We were only people that had a gym in that neck of woods down there. And we worked out in basketball 13 months a year.
All right. I understand that when you were a young man that you went to church twice on Sunday in a wagon, and you had to go all the way home back and forth and make all of these trips. Is that true?
That's right. Mm-hmm. And my mother, it was no such a thing as sleeping in on Sunday morning.
You were out with it.
That's right. When we had the Baptist, you belonged to Methodist Church, and when the Baptists had service, we went to Baptist just as much as we did in Methodist.
Oh, that was good. Y'all were interdenominational sort of in your thinking.
That is
great. All right, now let's leave that part of the country and get to about 1940-ish when you and your twin brother went to the Navy. Tell me about that.
Well, we entered the Navy in 1944, took boot camp in San Diego, came back on boat leave. Mm-hmm. And I got out of the Navy in 46, and went back in the Navy and reported back to Dallas the 10th of September in 1946.
And that's the Navy Dallas here in Grand Prairie?
Navy Dallas, yes.
Yes.
And my twin brother John was going to make a fortune farming.
Yeah. And
he decided he would not come back in the Navy, so he decided to farm for a while, but he's wasn't so successful, so he came to join the Navy in 1949.
All right, and y'all were both at Navy Dallas?
Navy Dallas.
All right, did y'all stay at Navy Dallas for the rest of your Navy career, or did you go somewhere else?
Well, Ruth, it was told to me that I stayed at Navy Dallas 2 years and 156 months.
No, my, that's a bunch, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what was reported when I went to Los Alamitos in 1961.
Okay.
They said Whitley stayed at NS Dallas for 2 years and 156 months.
Yeah, that sounds like a real Navy career.
About 15 years.
Did you spend 20 years in the Navy in its entirety then?
Yes, I did.
And then you retired from the Navy, and by that time, had you met Margaret?
Yes.
Where'd you meet Margaret?
On a blind date.
Where were you when you met Margaret? At what town?
Okay, here in Dallas, and
right.
We got married in, hello, Margaret.
Yeah, about 1945 or 46?
We got married December
48.
December 18th, 1948.
Yeah, okay.
You know who she was living with?
Who was she living with?
Connie Hamilton. Do you know Connie Hamilton?
Yeah, that's a realtor here in town?
Yes.
Yeah, where was Connie, in Dallas or here?
They worked at the telephone company together, and so she moved out of the apartment. We had planned to get married, and she moved, give up our apartment. So she stayed with Connie and Red until we married in November
1948.
48.
All right. Now, you and Margaret married, and did you get out of the Navy?
No.
All right. How about all of these kids then? You're going to have to name your kids since Margaret's here. I usually let the lady name the kids.
Okay. My oldest son named Glenn. He was born in December 1952. My daughter named Sheila, born in November 30th, 1956.
All right.
Gary, July the 27th in 1958.
All right, so you have two wonderful sons and a beautiful daughter that's married to Dennis Seeley, and they live here in Grand Prairie. Where does Glenn and Gary live?
Glenn lives in Hurst. He has a CPA firm over in Hurst.
All right, does he have any kids?
He got 3 kids.
Name them.
Jessica, Kristen, and Jonathan.
All right, that's good. You're making an A. All right, how about Gary? He's single, though.
Gary's single.
But we have hopes for him, don't we?
That's right. He has been married, and you know, it didn't work out.
All right, now how about Sheila Whitley Seeley, married to Dennis Seeley, one of the finest young men I have ever known, and name their kids.
Scott and Sarah. Scott Benjamin.
Scott Benjamin. Oh, that is a great name.
That's right.
That's a great namesake, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that is great. And they live here in Grand Prairie.
Out on Racket Club.
Yes, all right. And before we get into the lodge stuff, I've got to get a little bit about politics. What does politics do to you? I'm not going to ask you what you've been or anything into politics. Just what does politics mean to Ben Whitley?
Well, I wish politics. Let me recite you a story.
All right, look right out in your camera and recite it.
In 1971, Dennis Seeley was running state master counselor.
Yeah.
My son-in-law.
Okay.
Glenn Whitley was supporting Charlie Naylor, and so Dennis won. And you know, Glenn Whitley and Easy Zale, Dennis' campaign chairman, came over the room. I said, what gives here? I says, you bittery, you was supporting Charlie Naylor now, and you with Dennis Seeley, campaign chairman. I said, what gives? That's what I wish politics would be like today.
You want them to be amicable so they'll all come together and work as a team regardless of the outcome.
That's right.
Okay.
And I can relate to another story, Ruthie, if I have time.
All right, you got about a half minute. Let's go for it.
Okay, Todd Perdue, I made a cut a deal, and you know, an advisor is not supposed to get involved in politics.
That's it.
But I cut a deal with Ron Lawless, chapter advisor for Reagan chapter. I said, if D. Lloyd Nelson will not run, if D. Lloyd Nelson is going to run a state master counselor, your son don't run, I'll support you next year. Well, lo and behold, Todd Perdue joined our chapter in 86, and I had to hold up my deal and vote for Jay Lawless there. And Todd Perdue came to me. He said, Whitley, he says, Whitley, you did what you had to do.
That's
and
it.
you know, that kid was back at my chapter next Monday night.
That is great. That is a great story. But now, how about politics for Ben Whitley in Grand Prairie, Texas? Now, I know you served on the council.
Well, that's right. That's right. know,
Did you enjoy that tenure pretty well?
I did, but you know, Ruthie, when you out there and you see splits on the thing, and it's not pleasant. You know, you see some people support you and they against it, and you know they want this and they don't. It's a middle of the road situation.
Yeah. But I'm glad you got to serve on the council. That was a learning experience
That's
for you,
right.
wasn't it?
That's right.
All right, now I have something else I want to talk about. I've gotten to the politics, and we've gotten to the Navy, and I guess one of your greatest loves has been the Masonic Lodge, and that's what we're here to talk with these young men about a little bit today here. You've been a member of Sam R. Hamilton how long?
35 years.
About 35
I joined
years.
the lodge in 1955.
All right, now, you became the worshipful master, which is the highest honor that the Sam R. Hamilton can put on you here in Grand Prairie, Texas. And what year was that?
June 67.
June of 67. Okay, and also a higher honor than that is when you become a Shriner, and you became a Shriner when?
In March 1984, dead Sealock was sorry he missed that, and that dead Sealock had, you know, a long memory of them Lays.
Yes.
He wanted me to join the Shriner, and I never did.
All right, now, demolays, that's a very special word, a very special meaning in the language of the Masonic Lodge. Also, Clyde Sealock that you mentioned was a mover and a shaker in that prior to you. When did you start working with the demolays, and for how many years?
I started working in Demolays in 1969, in spring of 1969.
And you were going to just do that for a year or so?
One year, Ruthie. 1 year.
And how long did that year stretch out to be?
21 years.
21 years.
Until I got Steve Overton, Dead Overton, to relieve me.
All right, you've had Clyde Sealock, Steve Overton. You mentioned to me Morris Wages.
Morris Wages.
Who are some others that have been wonderful at working with you in Demolay?
Well, I've had lots of good support in Demolay. Durwood Sutton has been one of my bigger supporters.
Okay.
Jerry Marsalis has helped me a lot, but Chuck Bancroft has helped. Tommy White is a big supporter of Demolays.
Okay. Now tell me about this ham and bean thing that I go to every year. You're always out here peddling tickets, and we always buy them and come out there and have the best meal. What did that start from, Ben Whitley?
Fundraising project 1969 that we've held our first one at for United Methodist Church up there. I believe Reverend DeBoer was there, and we had we had taken a baseball team to San Antonio, and we needed to raise some money.
Yeah, so you had a ham and bean dinner.
That's right, and it's been going on since 1969.
All right, now tell me what your Demolay group used the funds when you do this ham and bean dinner. What do you use the money for?
Help pay their way to the conclave.
All right, help pay their way to the conclave.
That's
all right. And we have with us today some of the members of your friends that you've brought with you that have been very important to you in the Demolay work. And I'd like to, first of all, get the camera to pick up Chuck Bancroft III. Chuck, we're real glad to have you on the show today. Aren't you glad to be here today?
Yes, I am.
You were forced into being here today, and you're glad to be here today, aren't you?
Ruth, let me say, he's the first father-son Demolay that I've had since I took over Chapter Dad.
Oh, that's great.
I had his...
You had his dad?
Dad in Demolays.
And then now you have Chuck. And Chuck is Bancroft III. Chuck, where do you go to school?
Grand Prairie High.
Grand Prairie High School. That's great. What is your status beginning in September or August when we start the school? Are you a junior, senior, or whatever?
Be a freshman.
You're going to be a freshman. That's great. How long have you lived in Grand Prairie, Texas?
Well, pretty much all my life.
Pretty much all of your life. Tell me, just in maybe one sentence, what working with Demolay has meant to you, working with Mr. Ben Whitley?
Well,
Dad Whitley.
Dad Whitley, excuse me.
well, being in Demolays gives you a lot of self-confidence, and it strives you to do more every time. And working with Dad Whitley has been just great. He helps us with everything we do and helps us learn our parts a lot.
That is great. That is splendid. Okay, next we have Scott Russell. Scott, we want to welcome you to the set today.
Thank you.
Yes, and Scott, where do you go to school, young man?
I'm Grand Prairie High.
You're Grand Prairie High also. What will your status be?
I'm a freshman.
You're a freshman too. Y'all are going into this thing together at Grand Prairie High School. All right, would you like to look out into your camera and just tell us what it's like to be a member of the D-Malay, and do you spend a lot of time in it, and how fun it is to work with Dad Whitley?
It's exciting. It helps you with your school and kind of help learn stuff and all that. Working with Dad Whitley's been great. I mean, he'll get behind you, and if you're having trouble, he'll come help you and help you out.
Oh, that is wonderful. Okay, let's go to Conan Overton. Conan, now, we know your dad, Steve, and we know your mommy, and you certainly are a handsome young man, too, and we're glad to have you on center stage here. Tell us a little bit about your schools.
Well, right now I'm going to Jackson.
All right.
I'm going to be in 8th grade.
All right.
And, well, D-Malays, to me, it's always been there because my dad working with it and all.
Yes.
I've always wanted to be a member. When I finally became a member, Dad Whitley, I've known him a while, and all the other dads, they've all helped, and it helps you with just talking clearly and ritual work.
I see. Tell me this, Conan, as a D-Malay, do you have to spend much time away from your regular school academic studies in order to do this, or do you just use that sort of as a hobby in between the other things?
It's more of a hobby. I mean, just learn the part. You say it maybe 25 times a day, and it doesn't take long. And once you've got it down, well, you just...
That's great. How long have you been a member of D-Malay?
Since March.
Since
Same time
March.
as Scott.
Same as Scott. Oh, I think that is wonderful. All right, now, Dad Whitley, you have these three young men here. Are they examples of the many hundreds of young men that you have helped? And if you know approximately how many young men that have been under your jurisdiction since 1900 and I believe 69 when you started working with them?
They're a great example. Let me tell you, brag on these boys.
All right, brag on them. This is brag time.
This is brag time. This is Scott Russell. He joined D-Malays. I'm going to correct him. He initiated on the 15th of February.
All right.
In Conner.
All right.
And he took the part, he had the largest part ever, master counselor on this store degree. Conan did the marshal in this, and he did this. And they did a fantastic job down at State Conclave. Chucky was going to do the South, but he had run into a little problem, and he couldn't make it. But D-Malays has been suffered for us. We haven't had too good attendance. But with Scott Russell, with Condon, we're looking for good things to come about D-Malays.
Oh, that's right.
I'm real happy. You know, Grand Prairie D-Malays have flourished for many, many years. And we've had some great retro teams. But I'm proud of these boys.
All right, now tell me this. When you go, you mentioned the conclave. When you go to this, is it in the city of Grand Prairie, or do you go statewide, or?
We go statewide. This was in Tyler, Texas, this last year, and we will go to New Braunfels and this next year.
So that's what you use the funding for from the Bean and Ham Dinner.
That's right.
Is you use this money to take them to the conclave, which is going to be in New Braunfels. That's a beautiful part of Texas, isn't it?
That's right. The kids looking forward to it. I understand. Oh, you got 5 minutes. You got. They're gonna open the park up for kids to conclave down at New Braunfels, the River Walk, or you know what.
Oh yes, that's the pretty place on the river.
Yeah.
That is great. All right, now Ben, we're going to hold all of this in abeyance in a minute because we have some show and tell things that I really don't want to miss. First of all, I want you to hold up the picture of your parents, and let's put that so that they can get that on camera. And I know that Allison Clemson, our wonderful camera person, is going to clue in on that, see if we can get the glare off of this, because we want to get your parents Isn't that a good one of your parents?
Yes.
Now, you just hold on to that while I switch with you. Now, this is your parents, right?
No, this my,
No, that's Margaret's parents.
yes.
All right, let's get a good close shot on Margaret's parents because we want those on tape. Now, identify who these wonderful people are.
This
would
is my
you?
mother and daddy, and Steve, which one is me? This is me right here, and my twin brother.
This is you and your twin brother right here.
Yeah,
And that's your parents.
that's right.
All right. And about how old were you when this was taken?
18 years old.
About 18 years old. You sure were a handsome dude.
That's right.
Yeah, that is great. Now, this is a very meaningful picture in your history, too. Tell us a little bit about that picture, would you?
Well, that's when
ma'am?
we was first class in the Navy, and he was shipping out. He was going aboard the USS Yorktown.
Who is this?
That's my twin brother.
That's you and your twin brother.
That's right.
All right. Well, y'all sure do have a lot of stripes on your sleeve. What did all of that mean?
That's how many years we was in service.
I see. Where was this picture taken?
NAS Dallas.
NAS Dallas, Navy Dallas,
Yeah.
here in Grand Prairie, Texas. Now,
Ruth, we have had lots of fun in the Navy.
oh, I bet you have too. Now, I'd like to have a real long, good shot of this because this is very meaningful. My dad was a Mason here in Grand Prairie, Texas with the Sam R. Hamilton Lodge and a Shriner and all of this good stuff. And many of these people I have heard him speak of in a loving way. And would you tell us what group this is?
This was officers of 66, 67.
1966, 67.
Yes, and worshipful master N.L. Mott, and I was a junior warden,
And where are you in that?
senior warden.
Can you point to where you are?
I believe that's me right there, Ruthie.
All right, that's you right there. Isn't that great?
Okay.
That was a great picture. Now, we have just a few more minutes, and I'm going to start with next to the baby, the middle kid in the family, and this is Sheila, right?
Yeah.
And Dennis and their little family, Dennis
Scott,
Seeley.
yeah, Scott Benjamin.
Dennis and Sheila. All right, Seeley and the two babies.
Scott and Sarah.
Oh, we're getting all of your family on this show, aren't we? Okay, let's see who this next wonderful show and tell is right here. Who is this?
This is Glenn and his wife Brenda, Jonathan, Kristen, and Jessica.
Oh, that's great. Now, your other son, did we have another picture here of your other son?
Yes, that was his. This is Kim and Scott. I mean, this is Gary.
That's Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one of Gary, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
Yeah, we have to show and tell that. That's something of the past, but you wanted this on the record,
That's right. That's right.
All right. You know, we're making an A with all of this good presentations, aren't we?
Okay.
Now, what do we have here?
Okay,
We
this-
may not be able to show this, but is this when you were in the Navy?
This is when I was. We made chief together.
You and your twin brother?
Made chief the same day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, did they ever separate you all in the Navy? I
Yeah.
thought they weren't supposed to
Okay,
separate twins.
now we went on a different ways because he went regular Navy in 1954.
I see.
So he chose, but as long as we were during the war, they could not separate us.
All right. I believe we have another Masonic picture here that we probably could show and tell. And what was this occasion?
That was the first. That was our all-round crew in 1956 is when I was first put in the lineup of officers at some arms.
Oh, that's great. You know, you've had just a magnificent lifetime in Grand Prairie, Texas up until today, and all of these years yet that you have to work with these young men. Don't you think it's marvelous that the Lord has put you here for a special time and a special place to work with young
That's
people?
Right. That's right.
Oh, that is a great heritage.
I'm proud of these boys here.
You bet, you bet. And of all of your DeMolay work, what is the most outstanding DeMolay leader that you feel like that you have brought forth, either kin to you or otherwise? What has been, say, the the prime one, and we have only a half a minute left for you to tell that.
Dead Steve Overton, Tommy White, and Eloy Villafranca.
All right, those three have to really a tie for first place, don't they?
That's right.
Well, Ben Whitley, it's been so nice having you on the show, and especially having these young men that represent the DeMolays and their dedication and your dedication to them. It's just been real great having you with us.
Thank you, Ruthie.
And tell Margaret how we missed her today. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do.